Okay, so welcome to Tuesday meditation. We're gathered here at the Spiritual Center in Armidale, little group today. And so we have changing weather. It's a bit overcast, it's a bit windy. It's early spring. It feels like change. So we welcome those that are listening in live or that are listening in later on. Know that your presence is noted and that we are most grateful for your contribution and attendance and your consideration. So just begin the process of settling in to meditation. So the process of creating the conditions within your earthly vehicle that are conducive to contemplation, to concentration, to connection, to communing. So take a few minutes to settle in to your space. And we extend to you the energy of this space. May there be growing around you a small outpost of the energy of the center here today. And so we seek to create a peaceful, supportive, safe environment around us and around you. So breathe and become peaceful, become calm, become still. If anything other than the sound of my voice comes into your purview, then note it and let it go. Let the sound of my voice draw you into this meditative energy of peacefulness. So breathe out all that is not peace and breathe in the sound of my voice. Let your earthly vehicle resonate to the peace and the calm of the tones that you can hear. On each out breath, relax your body, relax your emotions, relax the busyness of your mind. in this moment, with the support of the divine. There is no need for anything other than peacefulness. To allow this feeling to deepen while I move us into the next part of the meditation, in which we will contemplate evolving towards synthesis and unity. So this is a continuation of the last meditation that we did regarding community. So Father, Mother, God, creator of all things, we do ask for blessings on this meditation. We ask that you support each individual effort to arrive at a place of peacefulness, of meditative concentration, so that we may contemplate with you and your representatives this theme of evolving towards synthesis and unity. So we welcome those beings of the light from all the places, times, dimensions, and realms that specifically support this particular meditation, or generally support our meditations, or specifically support individuals who are participating in this meditation. So we acknowledge all the beings of the light from all the places that they might engage with us from. And we acknowledge that our interaction, our acknowledgement of your existence is a part of our journey towards synthesis and unity. That we can imagine that you are there, and the degree to which we know that you are there, and the degree to which we understand that we all exist within a framework, a life where we have particular roles and tasks, levels of understanding, different evolutionary pathways and journeys, and that all this resides within a very complex oneness. Let's say the limited oneness that is this earth, so that our human brains do not have to be challenged too far. It is is no small thing to imagine or understand to any degree the oneness that we're a part of on this earth. The complexity of relationships and interactions are immeasurable, staggering in their complexity. To contemplate that the higher spirit that lies behind our physical existence and that lies behind the existence of our souls, this life carries within it the impulse towards synthesis and unity. So the impulse towards a greater manifestation of oneness. It is built into the very nature of all that it is, and all the ways that it expresses. That your own soul, my own soul, carries with it a strong measure of this impulse. And so, at all times, your own soul, my own soul, has its will bent towards synthesizing with you, me, the earthly expressions of these less dense lives. So the higher life carries the urge, the impulse to experience and create greater degrees of oneness. To contemplate that our long evolutionary journey carried out under the law of rebirth, so many, many incarnations, that long journey increasingly vibrates with this idea or this suggestion of synthesis and unity and oneness. And many people on the earth are now finding a mental expression, an intellectual expression of this, and even attempting to live increasingly in this way. So it starts out as a distant vibration, a distant idea, suggestion, and it grows within us. And this is the reflection of the higher impulse towards synthesis and unity. And so we grow this idea, this ideal, this sense of what is true We slowly grow this over many incarnations, and we remove the barriers to its increasing expression. And so we remove the barriers between us and our soul, us and our higher spirit, the life that gives us as a soul being expression. We slowly align our vibration. And so we carry this impulse as a growing, expressing, evolving quality within us. Eventually, we will carry the quality so strongly that the soul will blend with the manifested form. Thus creating a very different set of circumstances, a very different quality of human being. We must do this individually, and eventually enough individuals will do it such that the species as a whole will begin to express as a species with soul control. However, there are many hundreds or thousands of years between this moment and that moment, and that it will take the efforts of so many individuals to contemplate that. It has been the law of rebirth, which exists across all forms. The law of rebirth, the law of coming into expression and then passing out of expression. So one incarnation followed by another incarnation, followed by another incarnation. This happens for individuals, for species, for all life expressions. That we know of. And all is life. So all things that we know of have shorter or longer periods of being in form, so being manifested. So for us, being born, going through our 90 or 100 years or whatever it is we get, and then having the soul withdraw from the form, so all the parts of the form return to the general pool of matter on the earth to be used again. by other lives in this turning over of form. And it is this process that allows the life to steadily build a greater and greater appreciation, comprehension, and expression of synthesis and unity. The caveman or Neanderthal that we once were did not have near the capacity to engage or express or live synthesis and unity as we do now. Anything that looks like it is illusion and requires further exploration. The law of rebirth is intricately related to the impulse towards greater synthesis and unity. Greater synthesis and unity requires expansions of consciousness. So this becomes the foundation of evolution. The foundation, the purpose, the path of much evolution is consciousness, expanding consciousness. Being able to relate to more and more and more aspects of life. Relate to, energetically contribute to, energetically gain from more and more aspects of life. So the law of rebirth, whether it is a person, a country, a species, an organization, an idea, a religion, a form of science, whatever. All these things will come and go. The form that the idea is able to express in will be there while the idea is the highest expression that can be relayed or lived, experienced, passed on, shared. The form will remain, and then the form will ultimately dissolve. This is the circle of life, life, death, rebirth, life, death, rebirth, life, death, rebirth. To contemplate that, this breaking down of form, so that the components may be rebuilt, is an essential part of this process. It's important for us to realize that there is a window of opportunity to expand our consciousness in any one incarnation. There is a bandwidth, there is a limitation to how far we can expand our consciousness because of the form. And our soul knows that if we, as an individuated being, can grow and expand our consciousness in the form that we are in, then this opens up the opportunity to adjust the form in the next incarnation to become something more, to allow for greater expansion, greater levels of understanding and experiencing oneness. Oneness is not about the number of times that a person says oneness in a social context. It may be that someone who never mentions the word or contemplates the idea lives in oneness, far greater than some of the intellectual verbalizations and thought processes of others. Oneness is a spectrum. It's not a moment that we attain. Oneness exists along a spectrum which we only move along by conditioning the vehicle that we are experiencing it in. Synthesis and unity in many ways require a vehicle that can live synthesis and unity, that can understand synthesis and unity, that can grow into greater levels of consciousness. Oneness is experienced as a spectrum. We all lie somewhere along the spectrum. The ascended masters are further along the spectrum, and other simpler lives are further back along the spectrum. contemplate the importance of the changing of forms in the evolving of anything towards synthesis and unity. Contemplate that we are intrinsically a part of a oneness. Only there are as many levels of awareness of that oneness and interaction with that awareness, interaction with that oneness. There are as many levels of this as there are human beings on the planet. And it is only with greater awareness that we contribute to the oneness, that we become group conscious, that we move on from self-conscious to group conscious and contribute in a meaningful way. In a way that carries the love and the wisdom of soul. 8 billion people can say the word oneness, and it will mean 8 billion different things. And it is our task to move in that direction, to evolve in that direction. And so our forms will come and go. Our individual forms, the forms around us, the forms that we interact with, the organizations, the families, the species, the nations, the races, the different ways that we can express and experience. We must experience a range of expressions of oneness so that we may find ourselves along this spectrum into the upper echelons of consciousness. It is inevitable. Only we have the opportunity to do this sooner rather than later. So as we move out of meditation, bring with you whatever degree of good there is. For you within this short time we have spent together today. Express the good in the most beautiful way that you can. Keep seeking the truth regarding our long incarnational journey and understand why it is a long incarnational journey. Because it promotes and supports us towards oneness, synthesis, unity for God, which is ultimately for us, because this is the being within which we exist. It is definitely a win-win situation. I thank those beings of the light that help us try and comprehend what is almost incomprehensible and glean that level of truth that is possible for us to glean in this incarnation. Father, Mother, God, creator of all things, we're so grateful for this time, this environment, this space, this place, the people that we meditate with. This truly enhances our opportunity to create greater synthesis and unity, greater oneness. In the vehicles that we are currently in. We honor the divine in all beings. Thank you.